Well, a very, very, very warm welcome, guys. Hi, my name is Kasim, and I hope all is well. I'm going to be the person who's going to be running you through this workshop today. I'm going to go through in a moment about who I am, why I created this course, why I created this workshop, and what it may be able to add, how it may be able to add some value to the quality of your life. But firstly, I wanted to go through some preliminary housekeeping stuff so that I can ensure that you're ready for this workshop, so that you can ensure that you're ready for this workshop, so that you are showing up the best that you can, and you can utilize and get the absolute most that you can out of this workshop. So, first thing that I would say to you is I would ask you to get yourself a journal. That's the first thing that I would ask you to do. Get yourself a journal, get yourself some pieces of paper. This workshop is not a passive workshop, it is an active workshop. You're going to actually have to engage, you're going to have to do something. Simply listening to me for the next 3 hours, which I'll get to in just a moment, isn't going to be enough. You're actually going to have to take charge of your life. You're going to have to step into your greatness. You're going to have to participate in creating this vision for yourself, in tailoring your life to what you want it to be, in vision casting, in setting goals, and taking control of your life and setting the destiny that you want, and not allowing your life to lay by the wayside and falling by for your fate and settling for your fate. You really want to begin to build the kind of life that you want. And in order to do that, you're going to have to engage and you're going to have to write things down. So you need either a journal, and I would encourage you to get a journal or some pieces of paper. And you're going to need a lot of pieces of paper because there's going to be a lot of writing in this. And that also means, of course, as a continuation, you will need a pen or a pencil or something that you can use to write. As you've just heard me say, I said that this workshop is going to be about 3 hours long. Therefore, I would encourage you that you do not try to do this workshop if you're going to be rushing out, if you're being distracted. Give yourself an opportunity to have time to actually begin to start investing in you. This is supposed to be your time. This is supposed to be a time when you can start to actually, for finally, think about what you want and prioritize yourself. You know what they say on a plane, that if we're in a crash or in case of an emergency, what do we do? Do we look after our sister or our brother or our children? No, they ask us to put our mask on first. This workshop is about you putting your mask on first so that you can show up the best that you can for your spouse, for your family members, for people who you care about, your friendship. You want to get yourself to a point where your cup is runneth over, you're full, you're beaming over, you have so much to offer the world and so much that you can give that it's almost too much that you can give them. And whatever comes out of the cup and whatever is overflowing, that is which you want to be giving to the world. But I know that many of you who are going to be listening to this podcast, to this workshop, and participating in this workshop, you haven't invested in yourself. You have nothing to give anymore because you've given everything and people have taken from you. Or you've arrived at a point in your life where you are confused. You thought that you'd be doing everything, you've been doing everything right, and you do everything right, and your life might work out in a certain way, but unfortunately it hasn't. And you want to begin to now tailor. You've got to a point where you want to tailor your life to you. You want to start thinking about what is in your actual best interest. And if you are at that point in time, allow yourself these about 3 hours. Trust me, by the end of this workshop, you are going to get something from this. I can't guarantee that the entire workshop is going to be of use to you, but I can certainly guarantee you that something that I'm going to share with you in the next 3 hours is going to be something that you can take and you can apply in your life, whether it's a principle, it's a basic, it's a law, a fundamental that you can take, and it's going to in some way help you in your life somehow. That I am sure I can share with you. So give yourself 3 hours. The other thing that I would share with you is to come to this workshop with an open mind. Okay. There is going to be a lot of things that I'm going to be sharing with you, and some of these things are going to contradict what you've been taught. Some of these things are going to contradict your life. You're going to get into what's called cognitive dissonance in psychology, which is where you're going to be like, Kasim, this is going against everything that I believe, but that's irrational, but that doesn't make sense. Here's what I'm going to say to you. When people are looking in my book, which I'll talk to you about in a bit, one of the things that I write in there is that when people are considering our potential, usually they're looking at where we've been and what we've been doing. And when they're forecasting what we're capable of and where we're going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they're looking at, they can't account, when they're looking at the results, they cannot account for all the things that are invisible. They can't account for passion. They can't account for determination. They can't account for magic. They can't account for luck. And a huge amount of us becoming successful and achieving success and realizing our potential is about luck. It's about the invisible forces that guide our life. And if that is what's going to be happening for you, and that's how and you're going to need some of those things in order to succeed, then I would share with you that you're going to have to come to this with an open mind. Because if everything has to be logical and everything has to be measured and everything has to be make sense, then you might struggle. And I'm just being completely honest with you, and I'm being completely, realistic with you. You might struggle during this workshop. So, what I would share with you is come to this with an open mind and remember that this workshop is indeed going to take about half an hour. The final thing that I want to say is that I want to thank you so much for listening. I want to thank you so much for watching. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself. I am aware that 3 hours of your time is a huge amount of time. And this is why I feel a huge amount of pressure and I feel a huge amount of a huge burden on my hands because my job is to ensure that you make the most out of this. I don't just want to be sincere. Sincerity is not a test of truth. I want to be able to add value to you. I want to be able to make these next 3 hours useful for you so that you can have something that you can take and that is going to be you can apply in your life. So I do feel a huge amount of pressure, but I truly, truly want to thank you so much for listening. I truly want to thank you so much for participating in this workshop. And I truly, truly, truly hope that it adds some value to the quality of your life.